Good morning, good morning. Today is Tuesday, November 11th, 2025. Malachim Aleph, Perek. Okay. Today is a very long Perek, but it's pretty easy, so maybe we'll get through it. The story of Ben-Hadad, Melech Aram. Okay, so where's Ben-Hadad? Ben-Hadad is near Damascus. So here's a map of Eretz Yisrael. Okay? So just quickly what today is going to take place. So here's Eretz Yisrael, and way up here is Syria. Here's Lebanon, here's Syria. Now, in Syria, this is Damascus, the capital. Now, this is the area of Aram, okay? You got it? Aram? Everybody sees Aram? So now, Ben-Hadad is the Melech of Aram, Syria. He's going to have a fight with Yisrael, with Klal Yisrael. Okay? That's what the discussion today is. From here to here. So, okay, everyone got there? Let's get started. Ben-Hadad, Melech Aram, Kobatz Escheloi, he gathered his army, and his army was Shloshim Mishtayim Melech Itai. And together with his army, he had 32 kings, okay? They were like kind of like working together with him. Sus v'Rechev, the Sus and Rechev, V'Yal, V'Yatza, Shamron, and they wanted to what? Make a war on the Klal Yisrael and the Shamron. So I said, I'm talking a little bit about it. I said that they wanted to make the war on Yisrael. So the way the pasuk says, they wanted to go all the way to the Shamron, okay? Because the Shamron was the capital where Achav was. So you have Achav is fighting a war with Ben-Hadad in Syria. That's the idea, okay? Fine. So Vayishlach Malachim, he sent messages al Achav, Malchusol here. He sent messages and he told Achav. Again, Ben-Hadad wants to have a war with Klal Yisrael. He sends a message. Vayamrulai Kayamar Ben-Hadad. He says the messages say like this. Hadad says, Lihu. He said, the way he started up, he's saying like this. He says, all your silver, all your gold is mine. Look. All I want is all your money. I want everything. Your wives, your children. It's mine. If you agree, there's no war. If you don't agree, there's a war. But that's what he wants. He's starting up. Okay. The way that Radak understands it is that really all he wants is taxes. The way the original conversation was, he thought he just wants taxes. He says, okay, taxes. He didn't think he literally meant he wants a wife and children. He figured he wants money. So Vayal Melech Yisrael. So Melech Yisrael Achav, which we know all along has been a weak Melech. So. Achav says, "V'yemer, because Adonai Melech Hadad, sure, no problem. Whatever you want, I agree. No problem. You can have. I'll pay taxes. It's the done deal." Pasuk, hey, so now the message went back and they said, they went back. They said and to Achav, they said, no, he didn't mean that. He meant Koyamar Ben-Hadad leman. Kishlachti Alecha lemar Kasafcha Zahavcha Neshach V'Zecha Lideli. He mean, I literally mean it. I mean, I'm coming tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm coming. And they're going to search your houses. That's based as Basi Avdecha in the house of your Avadim. And all the precious things that you cherish, he's coming to take it. So he didn't mean Ben-Hadad again. Ben-Hadad from Syria is attacking Klal Yisrael, and he's saying he's telling Achav. He's saying, listen, tomorrow I'm coming to pick it up. I really mean it. Now, what does it mean? He's coming back whole Machman Nachos. Rashi explains that Machman means the Sefer Torah. It means Chemda b'Tay Chemda, and that's Sefer Torah. So he meant, it's a Shemi cherish. What's the Klal Yisrael cherish? The Sefer Torah. So he's saying is what Melech Hadad is basically doing is he's trying to find something that they're not going to agree to. So what are they not going to agree to? We're not going to agree to give the Sefer Torah. Right. So in other words, he kept pushing until he say no. And once he say no, then he's going to start up. Okay, so he wants. So again, the Melech Hadad wants to have a Torah pasuk Zion, but so now Achav goes to the kingdom. Who is the kingdom? He goes to not the kingdom of Klal Yisrael. He goes to the kingdom of the people that by desire. And they said, "Do you realize? This is what he wants." Meaning the way the Masud understands it, the way the Masud understands is that the way the Masud understands it is that he's saying is that he wants he doesn't just want the wife of my children. He even wants more. I would give it if he just wants the gold and the silver and all that. I'll give it to him. But now he wants to say that I can't do. Now just understand in terms of Achav, even though he's by design everything, he respected the Torah, and because of that, Achav ruled how many years? 22 years. Why? Connected the 22 letters of the alphabet, because since he respected the Torah, therefore he got paid back. So again, even though it's a Melech Rasha, he did something good, and they respected the Torah. So the king told him, and they advised him, they said, look, if he wants if he wants money, we'll give it to him. But Sefer Torah, that they can't do. Pasuk Ches, Vayomu, I love. Oh, right. The schar was he got 20. Right, he got 20 years in this world to be the Melech. Vayomu, I love. Calls the kingdom of Tishma, lo yitzave. Don't listen and don't. No way. That we can't agree to. Pasuk Ches, Vayomu Ben-Hadad. So now. They gave messages to Ben-Hadad and back that knows that he's refusing. And they said, the original message I'll follow. But the Hadara he wants to say it. They reported the message of Ben-Hadad that they would not agree to that. Okay? So Ben-Hadad, when he heard that Achav was refusing to listen, he says, he makes a shiur chayosef, and in a very interesting passage, he says, he says, there won't be enough, Ben-Hadad saying, there's not going to be enough place on the dirt of Shomron, enough dust on the floor, that's going to handle my troops. In other words, I'm going to come and decimate your city. I'm going to run over entire Shomron, and he's threatening Achav that, if you're not going to listen, I'm going to do that. So now, Achav says, and there's also another famous pasuk, and he says, which means in other words, don't boast so fast. That the actual text means the person who puts on the sword shouldn't brag like someone takes it off. In other words, when someone's ending the war, he takes out the sword. Okay, so he can brag because he fought the war. But listen, you didn't fight any war yet. Chill out. In other words, you didn't win any war. Right now, Ben-Hadad, when he heard that, and now he got enraged. He's like, "You telling me? You telling me to relax? No." So when Hadad heard this, he was drinking. He was tight shiur, and he was in some shelter somewhere in Syria. But he tells Avadim, he says, "Go now, prepare a siege on Shomron." That's it. He basically poked the bear. He said, "Now, Achav finally had the guts to say one little thing," and Hadad went crazy. Okay, plus you give over. Hine Novi Echad, and now we're going to have an introduction to the Chaya Novi. So now the Novi comes in and says a nevuah to Achav, and it tells him, "Hine Novi Echad nigesh as Achav makasov." It says, "V'yamar kayam Hashem harisa es kol hamoin hagadol hazeh." He says, "Do you see all the people, all the soldiers of the army of Hadad?" Zak the Navi, today, actually, you're going to see that you're going to win the war, and this entire army of Ben-Hadad, of Syria, is going to be decimated, and it's going to be in your hands. And that's the Navi's telling him. Okay? And it sounds to Achav. He's going to win. You think they bring down, he's the win of the schus of what? And the schus of the Torah. Because we said before, he was machshir the Torah, Achav. Okay. Now Achav is asking the Navi, who should lead? How should the war go? In the front should be Benaris. You should put the young officers in the front. The way Rashi explains it, it means that it seems like all the countries in the world had soldiers within Achav's army, and the reason is it was kind of a way of protection because no one's going to start up against their own country. So if Achav's army has people from around the world, so therefore no one's going to rebel against Achav. So he had 232. The person, no, see in a second. But we'll say this. The phrase says first the army should go. Who should lead them? So the Navi said that Achav should lead. So you have Achav in the front. You have these Neurim in the back, and then behind them we're going to have. We'll see in a second. And they counted how many of these people. It was 232. So again, you have Achav, 232 of these mixed army of people from around the world, and behind them they counted the people. How many were there? They had 7,000. Now who are these 7,000? It's like yesterday, these 7,000 are the people of Yisrael that didn't do the Baal. Remember yesterday we said there's a special amount of people, and that's that. So again, the army consists of Bnei Yisrael. How many people? It was 7,232 people plus Achav in the front. Okay, and then that. This is Yehu. He had a massive army. He had enough people. Literally, there's no dust in the Shomron that could. Oh, I don't know. It's a good question. It could be he didn't care. He was tight shiur. It could be. Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's go. Okay, so now Okay, the attack. So now it's in the afternoon. It's at the middle of the day. Ben-Hadad tries to shikar again. He's drinking besukos. V'hu Malachim shloshim mishtayim melech. He's sitting somewhere in Syria, and he has the 32 kings with him, and he's preparing for the attack, like we said. Now he's starting Medinas. So now. So now, so what happened was the people of Klai went ahead and they kind of went attacking towards Ben-Hadad. So when he's sitting there, he's drinking, he's chilling, and suddenly he sees 232 people coming towards him. And so he says, "Who are these people that are coming from the Shamran?" So he says the following: that Dad is saying, he said, so if these people are coming to make peace, so he says, he should take them alive. And Muhammad, if they're coming to war, you should. He says live, you should grab them. So what does that mean? Grab them alive, live, like what's happening? So the way that Barbanel explains it is, it really means the same thing. It means you should capture them alive. He says, Barbanel, he says, what happened was, Ben-Hadad was so shikker, the pasuk says verbatim what he said. What did he say? Exactly. If he's a shalom, tifsu chaim, he's talking like a shikker. It didn't make sense what he said. That was the state of Ben-Hadad's mind right now. He was talking like a shikker. Okay, but really it means the same thing. It really means you should capture them alive. Okay, that's pasuk your test. That pasuk your test. Okay, pasuk your test. Ve'eli ben ear. So now nari sorry b'dinos. V'chel achrei. So they went out of the city and the young ones and the army they went and the army fell behind them. So again, like we said, you had Achav 232 and you have the 7,000. So now Ben-Hadad sent against each person, against the 232 people that are coming, he sent one per person to kind of like find out what they're up to, maybe to fight with them, whatever it was. And each youth, each person, or each Nar went ahead and killed the person that Hadad sent against them. And as soon as that happened, meaning imagine each coming. So Hadad's sending messages coming. So each one of the soldiers went ahead and just killed killed his corresponding opponent. Exactly. That's what happened. And by Yemal Ben-Hadad, so Ben-Hadad right away he sees it. He's losing. He's admitted that Ben-Hadad was talking like the big general. I'm going to overrun the Shomron, whatever. And now all of a sudden he got a few deaths and he's so shook. He doesn't know what's going on, and he quickly retreats. And he quickly runs away and he on the horses. Okay, so now when Yisrael, Achav finally had a little guts. He's ahead. What does he do? He goes kills and the Susva Rechav Aram. There's a tremendous upheaval and tremendous war happened in Aram, and they killed a lot of people of the army of Ben-Hadad in Syria. Okay, so now once again the Navi comes back and he says, so now the Navi comes to right. He says, very important pasuk. He says, "Go and go fortify yourself and be strong. And you should know what to do. No, you should know what to do with the Ben-Hadad. Why? Because at the end of the year he's to come back. And the Navi's telling him you should kill Ben-Hadad. Don't stop now. If you're ahead and you're at war, don't stop halfway through. Finish the job. And that's the big lesson in life. And when you have a war and you're almost winning, don't stop and say it's good. Finish the war. And what did they do? They didn't finish the war. And that's what we're going to see what happens. But Aram, since he didn't kill Ben-Hadad, sure enough, a year later, what happens? First the pasuk says, the Aram, they told him, hey, you know why you lost the war? Because they said that Hashem, he only is in the mountains. So therefore, you fought in the mountains, that's why you lost the war. Okay, so therefore, you know what you should do? Okay, and that's why they were strong, because Hashem is in the mountains. But if you have a war with them in the plains, if you fight cars on the plains, then then you'll see if we're not going to be strong. In other words, we'll be strong in Klal Yisrael if you fight. In the mountains, Hashem is in the mountains, but in the plains, you win. Okay. So also, and you should do like this. Also, when you make another war now, get rid of the kings. Don't have the Malachim. Why? The way Rashi explains it is because we need regular generals. Why? Because a king doesn't really care so much to prove himself. But a general wants to show that he's a warrior. So he'll fight much harder. So first of all, fight in the plains, and you should not only fight in the plains, also you put people that are real, that have to prove themselves, put real generals. It's like the pasuk, v'hasem Malachim ishme kaimei v'sim tachos tachteim. You should put a general instead of them. Pasuk hey, ha'atatim l'cha chayil. And you should the army keep the same amount of people that you had in the previous war. That's fine, but if to change up the location, if to change up the generals of the war, and then you'll be fine. And if you do that, and like we said in the plains, and then you'll see it will be more powerful. And they listen, and that's what they did. Once again, the war starts. Aram. So Ben-Hadad, yeah. So now it's a year later, and they're going to have a war now in the plains, and they're going to have different generals in the same size army, and then see what's going to happen. Ben-Hadad as Aram, so now they have a war in the Afeka. Where's the Afeka? So, okay. So if you look at the map over here, Afeka, it seems like it's somewhere over here. Afeka. However, the Barbanel. So again, this is somewhere in the plains over here. There's some place called Afik over here. Barbanel has a different shot. He says it's somewhere in Yehuda, and he says we had the few parakim earlier. Yehuda made a treaty with Ben-Hadad, if you remember we had earlier, and he says because of that treaty, the Hadad was in Yehuda where he was friends with Yehuda. So now he used Yehuda as a springboard to make Machama with Yisrael from the area from somewhere in the south. I couldn't find it. I looked at many maps. I don't know where it is, but it's two shots to learn. Either it's in the south or it's somewhere in the north. Okay. Anyways, the main point is not so much location. The main point is that he did it in the plains. Okay. Bnei Yisrael spoke to v'chalkol. The Klaisel was counted and they were armed up. They're ready to fight. That's what she learns it. The Yachal Kreis when they went to get up against Hadad. Nach Bnei Yisrael and Bnei Yisrael camped opposite them. They were like two flocks of goats. In other words, the way they had war those days is one army on one side, or the other side, similar to we had the story of Goliath. Remember David and Goliath, the story? So they like 40 days, I think it was, the passing back and forth, and the way who's gonna attack first. The same idea. They were like two flocks of goats. Aram and Aram was filling the land, and they were big army. The Yigash Alikim, and now once again, Yigash Alikim comes. It's like Rashi, I think that is Mechayo. I think it kind of comes. I think it's Mechayo. V'Yamer Amalchiso, he says. Once again, the Vur comes. Amru Aram. Since Aram said, okay, Harim Hashem, since Aram Ben-Hadad in Syria, the chutzpah to say Hashem is only in the mountains, Hashem is not in the plains. Therefore, because that is that's it. We're going to win the war, and we all know that Hashem is Hashem. Now, just saying, why did he say this for? He's trying to say is Achav didn't have any chosim. He used this chosim, maybe he used it up already for chos in the first war. But what's his chos now? It's not because of Achav. You win the war now because just to show Aram, you say Hashem is in the mountains, he's not in the earth, you get paid back for that. Once again, they kept opposite each other, like we said, like Izim for 7 days. On 7 days, Muhammad got really strong. Aram, Meya, Elef, Ragel Yamechad. The 7,000, 232 people, plus Achav, killed that day 100,000 people of Ben-Hadad, Melech Aram, in Damascus. Okay, Pasuk Lamed was a tremendous win for Klal Yisrael. Now, V'yinusu and Esarim, Ba'afeka, Al-Ir, and the people who escaped this war, okay, and they went to the people that went to the city. A wall fell al Esrim Sheva Elef on 27,000 people. It seems like I don't know how some big wall must have fell down and it killed 27,000 people that were hiding under the wall, the bottom of the wall, and Hanasarim, the people that were left over. Now, how about Ben-Hadad himself? Why was Ben-Hadad? This is the major part of the Perek. Ben-Hadad nos v'yovay al-ir cheda cheda. So Ben-Hadad runs away, and where does he hide? He hides in a room. Like he literally, he's running away, like and he's trying to save his life. So now Avodim said, "Hine no shemanu, why hide? We heard Malachim Yisrael, Yisrael, Kimach Chesanim. Guys, so good. They're nice people. You should do the Shema no sakim in the style, but you should put on sackcloth on your hips, and put ropes on your head, like almost like a tupshot. Either means like mourning, or Masuda learns a lesson of like a surrender. Like, why don't you go up to Klai and say, look, I surrender. I'm the Melech. I surrender. Okay, and maybe you'll save your life. To hide, he says, not going to work because you'll get caught. Surrender. Klai's nice people, we're suckers sometimes. Maybe you'll surrender. V'yachguru sakim esneim v'chavol m'sheim v'yavel m'chisol v'yomer avcha Ben-Hadad Omer. They said he served. Your servant Ben-Hadad said, "Chi no nashi, let us live." Basically, they went and they went to Achav. They said, your servant Ben-Hadad, you should let him live. He said, "V'yomer adenu chai achiu." He's alive. Brother Ben-Hadad's alive. In other words, almost like Achav's calling Ben-Hadad his brother. Ben-Hadad a minute before wanted to go ahead and wipe him, decimate and kill him, and he make a whole war. And now he meets Ben-Hadad himself. Oh, brothers, we're like best friends. Exactly. Yes, stay in the White House. Exactly. Okay, so now Achav is being extremely, extremely weak. He's calling his brother. And the people right away, they heard that signal from the Melech, and they saw how Ben-Hadad is suddenly like chummy with the arch terrorist. Achav is chummy with the arch enemy Ben-Hadad. Right away they ran. Achav Ben-Hadad. They said, "Achav, brother Ben-Hadad. He's our brother." Come bring him. They love Ben-Hadad, and they came out. And they put him on a chariot. This is like the ultimate weakness. Like the person who's coming to start a war with you, and like it's like taking Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden, or and just like make believe you're your best friend. They told him Harim. So now Ben-Hadad is still nervous that he might get killed. Like he's not so sure. So he's trying to he's sitting in the back of the limousine, and he's saying, the cities that my father took from you, I'll give back to you. Yeah. And we're going to make in Damascus, we're going to make markets. Just like my father made in Shamar, my markets will make. In other words, we're all good. We're going to do business. It's good. I need brischa. And we'll make and Achav went ahead and he said, I'm going to make a treaty with you. And he sent them off. So what happened? And he sent him a bris, and he made a bris. Achav makes a bris with the arch enemy, and he sends him free. And again, what did the Navi say? You must kill him, but he didn't listen. He's the given nevuah. He says this, friend. Very interesting pasuk, very hard to learn it, and that's the end of the Perek. So now, I'll just tell it to you outside, and I'm going to say it. Basically, the given nevuah. We went ahead and we had Ben-Hadad, and Achav goes ahead and lets him go free. So basically, it's a nevuah that imagine you have some person and you say, okay, watch him. If you don't watch him, I accept by myself that you could go kill me, and then I'm gonna let him go free. So basically, so me who didn't do my job, I'm deserved death. So basically, I said to myself what I'm deserving. It's almost like the nevuah we have in Nach Navi. It's very, very similar to Nach Navi. David HaMelech, right? If you remember the nevuah, remember the nevuah? David HaMelech has the story about Sheva. So Nach Navi tells him, he says, imagine you have somebody that has one sheep and has one thing, and then that's all it takes away from him. What do you do to that guy? So David HaMelech said, what do you mean? Such a person in Chayim Misa. So Nach Navi said, okay, so I'm referring to you. That's kind of the nevuah we have now. Ben-Hadad, you let him free, like he's supposed to be killed. What do you do to such a person? You created your own destiny. Let's see the pasuk inside. Now, so imagine one Navi tells another Navi says, "It's by Hashem Hashem, by the word of Hashem hit me." But you might initially cuss me. I don't want. He says, "No, I don't want to hit you." So he says him, because since you listen to Hashem, since you listen to me, a lion's going to go kill you. But he left him. Say, and lion went and killed him. The way Rashi understands that, okay, so there's different ways. There's the Rashi and the Malbim. The Rashi,
there's a Navi saying what's going to happen.
And Navi says, go ahead and hit him. And he said, no, I'm not hitting. So
a lion's going to.
So you see, you listen to Navi, you get killed by a lion. We had a very similar story to Navi Sheker. You don't listen to Navi, somehow we don't listen to Nevi'im, lions kill you. I know.
We knew how the punishment's going to be.
Yeah, but that's not. I know, but this is not really this is not really the point of the story. It's really from the next nevuah. It's really two nevuahs. I really want to go not with Rashi. I really want to go with the Malbim. So we'll explain it in a second. Hold on. So a lion kills him. And then what happens is another person finds him. Yomer, can he not hit me? And he hits him. So now he hits him. And now he goes and he wounds the Navi. He said, now the Navi goes. Now he wounds him, right? And then he sees the Melech on the way. And he comes up with a kerchief on his eyes and he hides himself. Okay. So that I'm not like Rashi. Okay, so don't get excited from Rashi. I'm not like the Bible. The Bible wants to say the shot is that Chayo should have went ahead and encouraged Achav to go kill Ben-Hadad. So it's a little bit tiny on Chayo. Why didn't the Navi push him to go ahead and kill? Because of that, somehow the Navi was kind of is a Muslim to the Navi, and because of that, that's why it says the Navi got wounded for that. That was one nevuah. The main nevuah is not from that. The main nevuah is the next pasuk, the pasuk Lamates. Okay, so the message to Achav is pasuk Lamates. Ve'hi hamelach over. So imagine the king is passing by. And he cries out to the king. He says, "Your servant, he went out to war, and he told the king basically. We'll see in a second that he was ordered to watch a certain prisoner, right? And he said, if he escapes, I'm chayim misa, and then he lets him escape. Okay." Again, watch this person. Watch some hostage person. If he's missing, you pay for it. Whatever, either pay or misa. And then the servant went ahead. He's gone. He ran away. So the king says to him. He says, you created your own punishment. You said that if he runs away, you can be punished. So now he ran away. So now he took off the kerchief from his eye. And he realized that he's a Navi. Since you went ahead and since you let Ben-Hadad go, you're going to be condemned. You're going to be from your hands. Your life will be instead of he's going to be chaymisa and your people instead of his people. In other words, you're going to be gone. And now Achav comes home. He felt very, very upset and angry. And he went home. And we'll see, very interesting, what happens. But basically, Achav realized he did wrong, and he did major wrong. He should have killed Ben-Hadad. You don't be that weak and just let your big enemy, the prize, just let him run away. You got to finish the job. All right, have a nice day.